Welcome to the Foundry by Forge College. Okay, let's just dive right into this explainer on how Filecoin storage deals actually work to keep your decentralized data alive. If you've ever wondered how these sort of abstract cryptographic promises actually turn into real, mathematically enforceable guarantees on a decentralized network, well, you are definitely in the right place. Today, we're going to decode the exact mechanics of renting space on the decentralized web. Here is our roadmap for this explainer. First, we'll welcome you to the storage economy, then break down the anatomy of a deal. After that, we'll look at why timing is everything, dive into the economics of verified deals, explore data audits and proofs, and finally, build out your deal checklist. So, let's jump right in.
Starting with Section 1. Welcome to the storage economy, or as I like to think of it, renting a digital storage locker.
To really wrap your head around this, think of the Filecoin network as a giant, decentralized self-storage facility. The lifecycle of your data is a complete end-to-end journey. It starts with the proposal and negotiation to agree on the terms. Then comes sealing the data, which preps it for the network. Next up is deal activation, followed immediately by ongoing proofs to ensure your data actually stays intact over time. And finally, you have the final settlement of the bill. It's a system that takes you all the way from a simple handshake to an unbreakable, mathematically enforced guarantee.
Moving right along to Section 2, Anatomy of a Storage Deal, where we decode the fine print. When we translate standard JSON deal parameters into everyday lease terms, the paperwork is actually surprisingly straightforward. You have the client, which is you, and the provider, which is the miner accepting your deal. Then you've got your price underscore per epoch, which dictates your exact payment rate. Every single field in this payload directly impacts whether your data actually persists on the network, so getting these right is absolutely crucial. But the absolute most crucial point here is the PCID. Think of it as a totally unique barcode on the box you're putting into storage. But, it isn't just some random string of characters someone slapped on there. It's a cryptographic identifier mathematically generated from your actual specific file.
This literally guarantees that the exact content you asked the provider to store is what actually gets sealed inside that digital locker. If a miner tries to, say, swap out your critically important files with a picture of a cat, the network is going to know instantly. Why? Because the barcode simply won't match the math. No way around it.
That brings us to Section 3. Timing is everything, covering move-in dates and lease terms.
Now, as you probably know from the concept of transaction chaining, temporal parameters dictate everything on a decentralized network. In this specific ecosystem, we measure time in what we call epochs. You can essentially think of an epoch as the steady, relentless ticking of the network's clock. It is exactly how we set hard deadlines for when a deal starts and precisely how long that storage agreement will last. Let's break down the timing. When you propose a deal at, let's say, epoch 0, the miner gets a sealing window to prepare your data. But here is where it gets absolutely critical. That sealing window has to finish before your chosen start epoch hits. Let's pretend that's epoch 100,000. If the miner dragging their feet and doesn't finish sealing before that start epoch arrives, the deal completely fails to activate. It's dead in the water, and the miner might even face penalties. And this creates a massive difference in risk depending on the duration you choose. A short-lived deal, say roughly 1 day, means far fewer security checks. But a long-lived deal, like a full year, locks in continuous, ongoing proof obligations for that entire 365-day period. So you have to decide up front, is this data just a temporary cache, or are we building a permanent record? Okay, let's move into Section 4, Economics and Verified Deals, or how you secure the insurance on your data. We hear this all the time from students in Forge College courses. When they start building their payloads, they ask a very logical question. What stops a miner from just taking your money and immediately deleting your data? It's a completely valid fear when you're handing your files over to a random, anonymous computer. Well, the answer lies in the network's economics. Providers are literally forced to put their own collateral, their own money, on the line just to host your files. To make this system even safer, this is where a real game changer comes in. You can set the verified deal flag to true in your payload. This acts kind of like a subsidized rate that completely alters those collateral rules we just talked about. It shifts the incentives entirely, making it highly profitable for the miner to keep your files secure, and financially devastating for them if they lose them. Next up is Section 5, Proofs, your data's audit. Meet the security guard. So you've negotiated the deal, the data's sealed, you're good to go. But how do you know it actually stays there months from now? Enter proof-of-spacetime, usually just called POST. I want you to think of this as an incredibly strict security guard doing continuous, totally randomized rounds. Your duration epoch parameter tells this mathematical security guard exactly how long to force that miner to mathematically prove they still hold your box. If they fail to check, they lose their collateral. It is relentless accountability, and it's honestly brilliant.
Let's pull this all together in Section 6, Building Your Deal Checklist.
If you want to prototype this before spending any real funds, you can just follow these steps locally. First, make sure you map your sealing deadline to the start epoch so the miner actually has time to seal the data. Second, map your proof coverage to duration epochs based on the lifespan you actually need. Third, use that verified deal flag to lower your costs and massively boost your security. And finally, double-check and validate your JSON structure. By mapping these exact parameters explicitly, you know precisely what guarantees you are buying before you ever hit deploy. And with that, you are ready to seal the deal. Knowing how to read and build these transactions completely turns abstract promises of decentralized storage into concrete parameters that you entirely control. You aren't just crossing your fingers and hoping your data stays online anymore. You are writing a strict mathematical contract that forces it to stay online. So, as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a question to ponder as you gear up for your next module on NFT metadata storage. Definitely visit forge.college to dive deeper into these courses, but until then, think about this. For your next Web3 project, are you going to build a temporary cache or a vault that lasts forever? The choice and the power is entirely in your parameters. Thanks so much for joining me, and happy building.